Shalom, I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahushua by Shem Kakadash. Say double honors to our apostles and elders, very great millstone. Shalom to the hopefully elect. So I had watched the elders, apostles videos dealing with the controversy again, circling Revelations 13, because Zabach had recently, you had a brother that had walked up to him while they were teaching, and he was pretty much just trying to get confirmation, like saying, yeah, I'm with y'all brothers, and yeah, they're going to talk about their chip, but you're not supposed to take that chip, because this going to happen, that's going to happen. And Zabach pretty much says again that they don't believe that the mark of the beast is the chip, and he gives his explanation. And the thing is this, you are causing confusion, and you know this because you're in the comment board. When you go to this comment board, because the title of this video is HOI is deeper than a chip, the people are confused, and they are confused because you pretty much set a stumbling block before them. And the scripture says don't do that, especially now when it comes to this doctrine. Now, the comments, which I'm going to show you, you got people, because he pretty much said that we don't believe the mark of the beast is the chip, but common sense to tell you not to get the chip. You can't do that with Israel. See, that's the problem. You can't do that with Israel. This is why you're getting all this confusion. You can't do that with Israel. You know how Israel are. They're stiff-necked, hard-neck. They're stiff-necked people. They will look for any loopholes, and they are backsliding. A lot of people are honestly concerned, genuinely concerned about the mandatory mandation of the RFID microchip, because as we've been teaching you, the chip, when this chip mark of the beast is taking place, your very state of well-being is no longer guaranteed. That's what the worry comes in. That was fear. Fear is when you have no control. Right now, we can go up and down the street, talk our crap, but we can still make sure that we're going to go to the store, get our food, get our water, provide for our families. That puts people's mind at ease. The idea of that being threatened, that's what puts people in fear. And if brothers are watching the videos and they're paying attention to the news outside and they see everything that's going on in this world, and we're telling them, look, in Revelation 13, that RFID microchip, that is the mark of the beast, and he's going to make it a mandatory implementation. It's pretty much going to be your new ID, your new wallet, your new driver's license. It's going to cover all that. And they're going to have it to where if you don't have this mark of the beast or this chip, you aren't able to buy your food, all the things you're able to do now to provide for your families, so you can have that sense of security, and for your own life too. That's where faith is going to come into play. See, we're going to tell you straight. We're not going to leave any ifs and what ifs. See, when you hear him speak about this chip, he's leaving so many room for gray areas and a bunch of what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. You are confusing the people. Let me show you some comments, because that's all this whole comment board is about. It's about back and forth, saying no, it's not the chip. Some people saying, well, okay, well, are you saying it's not the chip? Are you saying it's not the mark of the beast then? So are you saying I can get it? It's all a bunch of back and forth. So here's what this woman said. Juanita called him. So it's okay for us to get the chip. See, it does not matter if you say it's not the mark of the beast, but common sense should tell you not to take that. You can't do that, because at the end of the day, only thing these people gonna want to hear is saying, so I'm not taking them. I'm not. It's not Revelation 13 to 9. I mean not 9. 13 to 15. So I'm good to go. You know, anything else you're giving them is pretty much an opinion. So that's what this woman said, and you got some back and forth. One person said, "My sister don't even thinking about taking something that don't belong to your body. Don't take the chip." Someone saying, "Don't take the chip, period." But then Zabach came on here, Zabach 12, and said, "You didn't listen. We said no. Don't take the chip." Typo. You see. And that's why this brother said GMS is a riot. GMS. See this confusion about. See this confusion Zabach is causing blood. You're causing confusion. You're literally causing confusion, and you can't do that with Jake. And that is not a good position to be in. The Lord looks down on his people, especially those who are in the authority seat of teaching his word. And he's looking at the sheep, shall I say. And if they're all confused, see, look at this comment. I'm a little confused by daughter of Zion. So if you get the chip so you can buy and sell, it's okay as long as you honor the Lord and keep his commandments. I thought we were supposed to refuse it, go without lose our job if we have to find other ways, but never take the chip. Someone please clear that up for me. And that's the point. What she's saying is true. You're not supposed to take it, and whatever comes our way, we come our way. That's when faith comes into play. But if you are saying it's not the mark of the beast, you are leaving that option still available for Jake to say, well, I'm just going to go ahead and do it then. And what these supporters of Zabach, what they're trying to say is, well, the point he's trying to make is that if you take the chip, that means you still worship Esau anyway. So you bound. No. You know how many people, look, Jake, listen. Right now, Jake, ain't nobody scared because, like I said, your very livelihood isn't on the line. But once they get on the line, that changes the way people think. Once they actually start implementing martial law and really throwing people in concentration camps because they don't have this mark of the beast, that can make people change how they think. Even people who believe in the Lord. You know what they'll do? Some will say, well, look, I'm just going to take it. So they go ahead and take it, and they say, okay, good, now I got the chip, and now I'm being freed from being persecution. Now I just, still going to work while all the other Israelites and people around me are getting persecuted, getting killed. I'm safe because I took the chip. But here comes some chariots. All right, now let me go ahead and take that out. And so I pretty much got around it. You see, that's what you're leaving. That's what you're leaving available to the people, because he said that in his video. He said, "Well, look at that movie with Denzel Washington. Was it the man something candidate? Starts with an M. I forget." He said, "See, Denzel had the chip, or somebody had the chip, then it was taken out of him, so now he don't got the chip no more." Listen, we've explained, starting with the elders and apostles, the chip is a conscious decision. Taking it is a conscious decision. We don't leave any gray areas or what ifs. When someone asks us plain as day, so it's a chip to mark of the beast, yes, you don't want to take it. If they say, well, what if I'm mandatory to get it? What if they force it on me? Then we say, well, look, you want to pray to the Lord that you're not in that situation, but it's a conscious decision. So if that happens to you, the Lord can still have mercy on you. But here's the point. Thou shalt not tempt the Lord. See, Elder Apostle Har had touched on that. He said he don't want to be the one to test that. You don't want to be the one to test that. To go ahead and take the chip, go to work still, escape persecution, people getting killed, you're safe. But then once you see chariots come, all right, let me go ahead and take it out. So let's see what the Lord do. You don't want to be the one to test that. See, we're telling our people plain as day, you don't even want to test that theory. So the replies, you got one person, a follower of Zabach, saying the RFID chip is not the mark of the beast. You got another brother saying don't take it. The guy came back and said the chip is not a sin. He said, which is weird to put that in you, but no, it's not a sin. And this is all people need to hear. I mean, you're weird for going off. I mean, you kind of going off by putting it in you, but it's not the mark of the beast. It's not sin. You see what you're leaving to Jake? Confusion. Someone else, probably a follower of Zabach, knows it's just a myth. It's perfectly fine to get it. See? Because these people looking for a way out. They don't want to come with that hour temptation. Like I said, where that guarantee of continuation of pretty much peace of mind is no longer guaranteed. And this is what you left to the people. This is what the whole Common Boy is about, back and forth. And this is something you got to address, man. You do not want to have this on your hands. 1 Corinthians 14:33. We know the scripture. For Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. Here at Great Millstone, we tell you the mark of the beast is the RFID microchip. Build up your faith now so that you may be able to reject what Esau throws at you, and that you are willing to accept death over taking it, as you have examples in the scriptures, the book of Daniel, the 3 men that were thrown in the furnace. They were delivered. Daniel thrown in the lion's den, he was delivered for not following the ways of the heathen at the time, and that our faith will deliver us. And even if we have to die, we refuse it because we believe that that's the mark. Now, if you say, well, what if I get it and I take it out? We say, thou shalt not tempt the Lord. You don't want to test that theory. See, we're not. I've stressed this. Isaiah 42 verse 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them. Because he also said, you want to know why the chip is getting so much attention now? Because people watching the news, they see Esau's technology. It's pretty much hype doctrine. What does that even mean? It's hype doctrine. If the Lord told us what to look for and we see it come to pass, those are signs that, oh, we at the end. It's not no hype doctrine. And that's why everybody getting all bent out of shit, because we know how this man operates. Anybody knows, everybody knows, even Esau knows how this government operates. Even Esau knows that with every passing bill, your freedom is being taken away. And they know that. That's why you got all these human activist groups fighting to keep these bills from being passed, because they know the government does not have their best interest in mind. They just want complete control over them. The elimination of privacy. So check this out. This was early this year. I'm pretty sure brothers covered this, but I believe this is the same article in which Elder Pastor Kabar just touched on about both the horns being part of the same beast. But it says 2019 session, bill would regulate microchipping employees in Arkansas. All right, 3 Square Market. So this is in January 2019. All right, it says State Representative Stephen Meeks is working to get ahead of technology in Arkansas. Quote, the idea here is to set the ground rules before the technology comes to our state to protect workers. So this guy's pretty much saying, I know that this is going to be a thing. And what I want to do is go ahead and have the rules set up before it becomes mandatory. Meeks, who chairs the legislature's technology committee, found there are no state laws to regulate implants in the U.S. He wants to be the first. So here's the fact. This is what we're moving towards. Because here's what I tell people who walk up and they say, yeah, I'll listen to Adam Abbott or IUIC and all this other stuff, and we talk about the chip. My question, even to Zabach and his followers, do you believe we're in the last days? If you say yes, what signs do you have to prove that this mark is going to be mandated? Because the scriptures clearly tell you that it will be a requirement for buying or selling. So if you believe the mark of the beast is a philosophy, Christianity, Caesar Borgia, what signs do you have to prove that we are coming to a point where it will then be required to make transactions, to buy or sell? I don't hear Donald Trump saying we got to get people converted to Christianity. I don't hear the UN saying we got to get people converted to Christianity. They're looking to get rid of the Bible. The Bible is on the #1 list to get rid of. So how can Christianity become like, I don't know, mandatory for you to buy and sell? They're looking to get rid of the scriptures. So what signs do you have to prove to me that the philosophy is slowly being implemented in place, that you must get this if you want to buy or sell? Prove that, show that to me. Well, I can show you that with the increase in technology, how this man is operating, everything is leading up to that New World Order, which is the image of the mark of the beast, the New World Order, and that you would have to acquire that chip or that mark if you want to do physical transactions. So show me your proof that we're getting close to that time where the UN is trying to make people believe or bow to Caesar Borgia if they want to buy or sell. Show me that, and I can show you just by checking on the news, everyday news, how everything is pointing towards a mandation of a new something that's going to take place of your wallet, pretty much. Because that's another thing. What about the U.S. economy? The dollar is clearly about to crash. So there has to be a substitute. And we're telling you, since everything is digital, we know that everything's going to eventually resolve around that chip. Everything that we're bringing forth leads towards what we're proving that is coming to pass. And all these things are undeniable facts. Even Esau knows this. This is why it's a talk. So you show me your proof that Christianity or whatever you, an embargo, whatever you think that the mark is, like spiritual mark, show me how that's slowly being put into place, that is going to pretty much very well threat the peace of mind of all people where they can't buy or sell. Show me that. So here's what Meek said. He wants to be the first to set the grounds. So this is what's going on in Arkansas. He wants to be the first one to set up the laws for mandatory chips and quote unquote protecting employers from making it mandatory. House Bill 177, House Bill 1177 would allow companies to offer microchips to employees but not force them to use the implants. The companies would also have to disclose how they plan to use the data. The legislation also requires the company to pay to remove the implant. If an employee leaves, the employee could decide to keep the microchip but then bears full responsibility of it. When asked if he would ever get a chip, Meeks responded, probably, but who knows. So point is, he's trying to get a bill in place to quote unquote protect employers from them being mandatory to get the chip. And anyway, they don't have to make it mandatory at first. You can just simply be left out. Just like what's a good example? Just like they forced you to pretty much get health insurance. Right now, you can technically say it's an option, but what happens if you don't get it? There's a tax penalty. So all the money gets taken out your checks for the whole year, and you still don't get nothing because you decided not to get health insurance. Your hand is forced, man. Your hand is forced. So you see how they can do it? They could just leave you left out. Now this was back in February 2019. Microchip implants, Big Brother and the chip coming our way. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just 2 sentences, 2 points. It says, with credit cards, passports, and driver's license incorporating identification, embedded microchips, and many pet owners implanting chips in their pets and to track their whereabouts, it is only a matter of time before they enter the human body. Predictions abound that from everyone, from babes in arms to elderly folks suffering dementia, will one day have a microchip implanted for one reason or another. So even babes and the elderly is not exempt. That's what they're predicting. And that adds up with Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small, great, rich, poor, free or bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Now just jump down. They talk about possible problems. It says, as implants become more widespread, Greens believes that individuals should have the right to decide. Why do they always talk about that? Why is that always a discussion when they talk about chips? It's always mentioned, well, I think it should be optional. Why is that even a concern? Because even these people know how the government operates. If they decide to make a change, that is going to be fact. You won't have a choice. Don't sit up here and pretend like we don't know how this man operates. We know how this man operates. It's not going to just be an option for so long, whether they want the chip in their bodies. But in a surveillance state, individuals who decline implant microchips could be out of sync with technology and even marginalized. They would risk not having the same protections as those who are microchipped. That's the point. At first they can say, yeah, you don't have to get it now, but you pretty much not even going to be able to function unless you have it. If you have cash only, or if you choose not to take the chip, in the grocery stores, which they're already doing now, like this local Sam's over here, used to have like 10 registers. Those 10 registers are now only like 4 registers. The other 6 have become computers where you just walk in, scan, and all that. So they pretty much moved the cashiers to do other things. So you know what's going to happen eventually. Even they know it. There ain't going to be no more registers. They know it. And when you go to those registers, the ones with the 6 ones, you can only use card. You can't use cash. I tried to use cash. They said if you want cash, you got to go online. So this is where we're moving towards, right? So what happens if you choose not to get the chip. Well, you go to a grocery store and they say we have no cash registers. Yo, you out of luck. How you gonna get your food? So you see, you may be limited to very few areas that may be outside of your normal region. So you got to go travel out here. See, you know how this man operates. We're not dumb here. We're given a strict warning, and you are coming along. Well, with your teaching, you are putting the people in doubt. You are putting the people, because a lot of these people are scared. They like, well, dang, I got family. So if you telling me that it's not the mark of the beast, that's all I need to hear. Now, everything else in his eyes is an opinion. If you say, oh, well, common sense should tell you not to get the chip. No. Common sense should tell people not to eat McDonald's, but our people still eat McDonald's. Hell, brothers probably still eat brothers do still eat McDonald's. But common sense should tell them not to, but they do it anyway because really there's no sin of death into that. So you can't do that. Luke 21. Verse 29, and I'm going to start at 28. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. Look when what things come to pass, the signs, because he says it's just hype doctrine. Oh, the people saying the chip and the technology and the government, and it's just hype doctrine. No, it's not. It's a sign. You see these things, you know we're coming to that point. It ain't no hype doctrine. But why don't you show me your evidence? I'm talking about for anybody who don't believe the chip is the mark of the beast. Show me your proof that this ideology or the philosophies or Christianity or an embargo will soon have to be mandatory, or that the government or the president or the UN is moving towards making those mandatory for you to buy and sell. Show me your signs. Verse 29, and he spake to them a parable. Behold the fig tree and all the trees. When they now shoot forth, ye see and know of your own selves that summer is now nigh at hand. So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of Yahweh is nigh at hand. So no, it's not no hype doctrine. It's just seeing and putting it with the scripture, seeing and tying it together with the scripture. These are signs that we believe, and you are putting the people in doubt, and they demand answers. So you can't do that, man. You can't do that. So with that, I'm just going to end it there, and I'm going to say shalom.